Oh shit, I meant to... Oh shit. Oh, there's 30 of them. Fuck off. Okay, I'm gonna leave a few. I've got 2 minutes to do this whole stage. That's kind of overkill, to be honest. Don't think I even need to get all the Popple away either, so... Yeah, I think they gave you way too much time. To achieve all of this shit. Which I'm not complaining, but at the same time... I know it's the beginner mode as well, but it's still meant to be somewhat of a challenge. I legitimately get the feeling this was the one they tried the least with. Like, it kind of shows in all aspects of the game. I mean, the level design's still pretty decent. In fact, it's almost good. It's nowhere near as impressive as the PS2 version, and I think it might have been better to, well, don't know what happened there. It might have been a bit of a better thing to do to, sorry, something just changed on my computer. It might have just been better to remake all these levels from scratch and actually come up with something interesting and nice to look at, rather than just trying to emulate the PS2 versions of all the levels. Especially with that Electric Final one, because they literally took all the best bits out of Electric Final, and were just like, basically, yep, that'll do, it's the same level, and it kind of is, but at the same time, it's also really not the same level. You see, I'm technically doing a whole lap in 17 seconds, which is insane and should not be possible. I'm not sure what that was. Hope it was my external hard drive. Yeah, it's my external hard drive, I think. Yep. I hope I don't have to collect all of these, or I'm gonna fucking shoot myself. Yeah, there you go, you win. So as far as I'm aware, you don't have to get all of the lums or all of the butterflies, which kind of defeats the purpose to me, but okay. You see, because there's no skins or anything, unlocks are pretty stingy. I found out there's apparently a Tilly haters group in the Rayman pirate community. Apparently there's a lot of fan art of Tilly basically being murdered, which I never thought she was that loathsome. She was a bit annoying, but I just found it legitimately funny that anyone would hate her that much. I mean, I've seen people get worked up over fictional characters and fictional organisations and shit before. That has happened. I never understand it when it happens, admittedly. I mean, don't get me wrong, hating a character for their actions in the story is logical to me. You know, you're meant to invest in the story, you're meant to care about what's going on, then yeah, obviously you're going to have an opinion on the character's actions. And to me, really, having an opinion on a character's personality or character is really just what happens when you've written an interesting character. But when people get really obsessive, to the point where they are violently angry because of what a character says or does in a movie, then that's when I'm like, mate, you kind of need a break from life. Just go and sit in the garden and just watch some butterflies. Just you know, chillax. It's fine. I knew one guy who really hated the Thalmor from Skyrim. Like, he hated them more than Nazis, like actual Nazis. Despite the fact that one exists and one doesn't. So that was fun. There was a guy called Old Painful, I think, who Stu Dog talks about. He also said that something like Cartman from South Park deserves to be raped and a bunch of other things. Which, thankfully, you know, Cartman's a fictional character. And he is portrayed to be a terrible person. But he's not really even meant to be a real person in the universe. He's like a silly caricature of a horrible, spoilt child. Really, he's like a fictional version of Andrew Velasco. So, it just kind of baffles me that anyone would get that worked up over a character from a comedy show's, like, intentions. Especially if that character is meant to be the villain, or meant to be, you know, silly. I could understand, like, Family Guy, people got pissed off with that show. And I can fathom that, because those characters, A, are often portrayed as the good guys when they're doing fucking awful shit. But also, the show's narrative takes their side, and seems to treat it as a heartwarming morality tale, when actually it's like a serial killer's idea of a PSA on domestic violence. It's just not good. There are several Family Guy episodes that kind of fit that description. Screams in Silence is a good one. If you really want to get, like, pissed off, Screams in Silence is a great episode of a show to get pissed off at. It's just fucking awful. But again, like with that, it's more like the writers and the way they make their characters appear in the narrative. I don't personally hold a fucking grudge against a fictional character. But anyway, I'm not sure if the hatred towards Tilly goes that deep. I hope it doesn't for anyone, because that would be stupid. But people seem to really hate Tilly. Kind of makes me laugh. I might make a Tilly fan club. I don't really even like Tilly, but it would just be funny. I'm glad this isn't a slidey thing. That is one thing that Rayman Rush does right. It doesn't have slidey things where you would just basically fall and die. I think I can use this as a... Yeah, there we go. Oh, I thought it was a butterfly, it's just a bush. There's a quote, by the way, if anyone wants to just randomly quote me out of context. I thought that was a butterfly, but it's just a bush. Oh. I'm so paranoid that I need to get all of these, and I don't know why, because I really don't. fact, it's probably detrimental to my progress that I get them all, because I could need them on future laps. But to tell you the truth, they are ridiculously overgenerous with the lapse times, so... Oh. Ah, shit. Fuck's sake. So I feel like this year I've done a pretty good job of just avoiding shit and shovelware. I know I started off with the Evlav thing, but that carried over from last year, so I'm not counting it. I feel like with my main show, especially, I know that my Let's Plays have featured a few shitty shovelware games, but admittedly, I feel like that's where they belong now. Like, analysing a fucking Yash Future Tech game like it's a real game at this point is just really tiresome to me, and I'm sure it is to a lot of other people. So I've kind of been trying my best to get away from doing that. A few people over the years have, like, said to me, like, oh, you just review, like, shit games, don't you? And I'm like, no. No, I know that that is the reputation I'm probably building for myself, but no, I talk about other things. It's just shit games often just come up in my radar. I've got a reputation at this point for being like James Rolfe, just torturing myself with shitty games. And I do, admittedly, but that's not the main focus of what I'm doing. And I feel like I kind of need to change that image. So that's basically what I've been trying to do for the past year now. I felt like the biggest eye-opener for me was when I tried to do my shittiest games award at one point. And basically, it was impossible. Because I covered so many shitty games in the space of 1 year, that some of the games that I decreed as the worst games I'd ever played that year didn't even make the list. Because I played something worse like a couple of weeks after. And that's when I'm like, I think I might have covered one too many shitty games in the space of a year. I do have to admit, I have always been a fan of videos talking about shitty games. I do have a weird fascination with failure, as someone once told me. And I'm not going to deny that. I legitimately love that I have a weird fascination with failure. But, to tell the truth, I would also like to cover things that aren't complete shit, which is one of several things I'm working towards by the end of this year. I have noticed, I have had a bit of a shoot up from, like, with, like, attention, like, subscriber attention and shit. My retention stuff has gone a lot higher this year. So that's really good. I was a bit concerned that the Red Faction video was a bit too long. I don't think as many people watched that one as, you know... Admittedly, though, a few people did comment saying that they had personal experiences with that game and that they enjoyed the review because it sort of brought them back to it and stuff like that. So I personally am kind of enjoying that aspect of it, but I feel like reviewing games like that sort of alienates certain people, but still I'm going to try and cover every kind of thing every now and then, because I feel like it's well, A, it's a lot of fun for me, B, I have a personal connection with that game, and C, I feel like if I keep covering the same type of thing because it's popular at one point, it is just going to It's going to be like burning the candle at both ends, basically. So on that front, I think I'm going to avoid shitty games for a bit. I Am Caligula's the kind of shitty game I want to cover, because I found that game legitimately interesting whilst playing it. And it's shitty in spite of the fact that the person who made it clearly put a lot of time and effort in. I would say they cared about it, but I'm guessing Drusilla's Dreams will be up by now, so yeah, you could probably tell that they basically stopped caring after a bit. Which is a shame, really, because, you know, Drusilla's Dreams and I Am Caligula aren't products of laziness, but I feel like the developers' just frankly weird obsession with criticism just basically ruined both of the games. And what started off as like a decent base that could have improved over a matter of years has been abandoned because a few people didn't like what it was at launch. And Leto had the power to turn that around. He had the power to fix the things that people said they didn't like about his game. But he didn't. There we go, I unlocked Tilly. That's cool. But yeah, RPG Maker is not a hard game to edit, by the way. Sorry, RPG Maker is not a software where it's impossible to edit your game once it's finished. There are some things, admittedly, that are harder than others. But I don't think Leto did any real scripting. I could be wrong. And it's not a bad thing if he didn't, but equally, I'm pretty sure he didn't do scripting.
Welche neugierige Babbrüchen.